Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today I'm taking a look at Adeptus Titanicus, the Horus Heresy, Crucible of Retribution, latest in the expansion series for the Horus Heresy Titan game by Forge World and Games Workshop. So what do we got here? Well, we got an expansion adding new Maniples, new Legios, and a new campaign to the game. It basically takes place in the Crucible of Iron, the Iron Apocalypse. There's a series of like the Belt of Iron is basically this series of like tightly clustered forge worlds on the edge of like Segmentum Pacificus and Obscurus. That during the Horus Heresy, their Fabricator General betrays the Emperor, leads Mars basically with the scrap code like into rebellion, and half of the Titan legions basically go to war with themselves. And this is like the big. It's basically supposed to be the Kursk of the Horus Heresy. It's the largest single engine war in the history of the Imperium, where like whole knight households and legios are deleted from existence, and it's just a massive, huge battle. So like from the point of view of like Horus Heresy timeline, this is the big one. This is where like the Mechanicus is at war with itself, the Imperium's at war with itself, and this massive campaign is supposed to represent that, these huge Titan legions going to war. So what do we have? Belt of Iron describing that sort of thing, and the Cataclysm of the Iron timeline. So the Cataclysm of Iron is that big battle, that war against itself. You get some new Legios to play as the part of the Cataclysm. My favorite Legio of all time is in here. It's the one I painted my original Horus Heresy box set as, which is the Fire Wasps, the Legio Ignatum. But as far as the other Loyalist legions, you also get the Astroman, the Morning Stars, the Legio Ateris, the Firebrands, and the Legio Venator, the Iron Spiders. And then for your traitors, you've got the Legio Laniuscara, the Impalers, Legio Culizete, the Gatekeepers. I'm just going to call them their little names. And Legio Demisium, the Unbroken Lords. And then finally, the last of the legions, the Legio Tritonas, the Dark Tide, is actually a Black Shield Legion. They don't fight for the Emperor or for the Fabricator General or Horus. They are trying to fight for the freedom of the Belt of Iron. They're like a coalition of like brown coat worlds that are all trying to like force the Imperium out. They remember a time when they were free. So they're really neat. We have two new Maniples, the Ignis Light Maniple and the Preset Battle Line Maniple, and some new houses, House Kolchak, House Moritane, House Gotrith, and House Vextrix. And then new narrative missions for the Cataclysm. Basically storytelling missions. The Assault on Findari Prime, it's a seize the fortress, destroy the siege lines, the relief of Zyloshi 2, the burning of Malharn Titan Duel, and the censure of Urdish, a last stand. And then some new rules, Echoes of Glory, so Death Worlds, rules for playing on Death Worlds, Forge Worlds, scenarios for playing on Forge Worlds, and Hive Worlds. So you've got a grand total of 5, 10, 15 new scenarios that are all set on those specific kinds of locations and give you like some additional sort of like environmental effects and stuff too. So there's our overview of what's in here. Again, lovely illustrations. They do a great job of like this kind of Photoshop photography where they're photographing the scale miniatures and then photoshopping over like all the smoke and the illustrations and stuff. Where the Belt of Iron is. So Stygies, obviously a famous Forge World. You've got Chthonian Necromundus here, very famous Forge World, kind of important that it's around. Talarn, where the biggest tank battle of the Horus Heresy takes place. Arachnus, and yeah, so you can see the Segmentum Sword, Tempestus, and Pacificus. Sorry, yeah, Tempestus and Pacificus are where this Belt of Iron is around the Segmentum Solar. Different classifications, different worlds that were part of the Forge Worlds that were in the Belt of Iron. This is a dead system. Is Necromunda in here? As I'd love to hear more. I can't remember. I skimmed this part. Now Urdesh is in here, Arachnus is in here, Calibrax is in here, and Valia Maximal. I'd love to hear a Horus Heresy description of Necromunda, but I don't think it actually gets one. It doesn't. No. Too bad. Missed opportunity for some history there. The Cataclysm, the Iron Timeline, Cataclysm of Iron Timeline, so the battle and how it happened. How that war against itself started with the Fabricator General going rogue and the scrap code and all that stuff. If you ever want to read a fantastic Horus Heresy novel that kind of outlines all this, read Mechanicum. I would say Mechanicum and Titan are probably the two best. I think Mechanicum is Graham McNeil, and then Titan is Dan Abnett. They're both fantastic. And then Legions of the Cataclysm. So, Astroman, the Morning Stars. And we're just going to jump right into some rules now and talk about that stuff. So their trait is Unyielding. When activated during the movement phase, a Legio Astroman Titan can choose to voluntarily awaken their machine spirit, and it counts as your activation. If they do, the reactor status goes up by 2. They automatically fail their command check to quell, and you apply the machine spirit thing instead of rolling, and the chosen Titan cannot be activated again in the subsequent command phase. So that's kind of cool. If you're really badly damaged, you can just choose to fail and have yourself act, as opposed to like taking all the penalties of not being able to do things. And then your specific stratagems, you've got 2. You've got, for 1, Strength and Resolve. The stratagem can be purchased by any Astroman player. The Morning Stars player may reveal the stratagem when activating a Titan during the strategy phase. Until the beginning of the following round, attacks made against that Titan gain no bonus to armor rolls as a result of damage already inflicted. And this counts as the Titan's activation for that phase. So when you need to like stand in one place, basically, you can ignore all your breached armor bonuses when the enemy is shooting you. And then for 3, Stand Firm. The stratagem can be purchased by any Astroman player. The Morning Stars player may reveal this stratagem at the beginning of any round. For the duration of that round, any friendly Legio Astroman Titans can merge Void Shields with any other friendly Titans as if they're part of the same squadron. As long as none of the Titans sharing Void Shields, they move this round. So you could move into position, and then when your opponent's going to be like just pummeling you, you need to hold on a single zone, you can just merge your Void Shields. So imagine 2 Warlord Titans just merging Void Shields, even though they're not part of the same squadron. Pretty cool. And then your specific war gear, Maglock shells. Any Astroman Titan armor with a weapon that with the Ordnance trait can take Maglock shells, so long as the Titan does not already have an upgrade affecting that weapon at a cost of 5 points. Multiplied by each weapon's dice value. So for a Reaver Gatling paddle, Gatling Blaster would be 30 points. Add 1 to the result of all armor rolls made by a weapon with his upgrade when resolving an attack made with an Ordnance weapon. Rolls of natural 1s are still a superficial hit. So that's pretty cool. +1 to hit, or +1 to penetrate armor. And then your specific traits, you have Steadfast. When the Princeps Titan is required to roll on the Awakened Machine Spirit table, they may instead choose the result instead of rolling. If they do this, increase the reactor by 1. Diligent, once per battle during the strategy phase, the Princeps Titan may be issued an emergency repairs order without needing a command check. That's pretty cool too. And then Immovable Bastion, once per battle after resolving the effect of an attack made by the Princeps Titan by an enemy Titan as part of a charge order, the Princeps Titan may immediately make a smash attack or an attack with a weapon with the melee trait against the attacking target. So that's pretty awesome. Someone charges you and you just go BAM! And backhand them with like your Chain Fist or your Power Fist or whatever. And they've got a really cool green and gold color scheme. It's really sharp. That would actually look really good if you're using like a green metallic paint too. I would do it the way I did my Ultramarines and use like a nice minty green color shift paint probably, and then that strong, rich gold. Firebrands. All right, so the Legio trait sees the initiative in the first battle round. A force that contains at least 1 Firebrand's Maniple may reroll the dice to determine who will choose the first player, but only if they rolled lower than their opponent. So you can't force yourself to go second. If they win this roll-off, they must nominate themselves as first player. So no choice. And then you've got 2 different stratagems. So Petrus Machine Spirit. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Terrace player. Reveal the stratagem when a Firebrand's Titan would be required to make a roll in the Awakened Machine Spirit table. Instead of rolling, they can choose to automatically apply Impetuous, moving d6 + 2 instead of d6. So you can just choose to go fast when you fill your roll. Then your Maniple of 1 for 2 CPs. The stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Terrace player. The Firebrand's player may reveal the stratagem at the beginning of any round. For the duration of that round, 1 Titan in their force may gain the benefits of any Maniple trait normally available to the Firebrands. Note that this, while the stratagem is in effect, the chosen Titan loses the other Maniple trait and does not count as being part of any other Maniples. That's pretty cool. So you can just pick a Maniple trait and apply it. And then you've got War Gear. You've got Infernus Missiles. When any Legio Terrace Titan can take this if they have an Apocalypse Missile Launcher for 15 points. If a unit takes at least 1 hit from an Apocalypse Missile Launcher equipped with Infernus Missiles, place a 5-inch blast marker under the unit. In the end phase, any models with at least part of their base on this takes a Strength 4 hit. Ignoring Void Shields and Ion Shields. Titans suffer this hit to their legs. In addition, blocking terrain touched by the template takes a Strength 4 hit. See the Adeptus Titanicus rulebook. And if not destroyed, is set alight. In the end phase, burning terrain suffers a Strength 4 hit and deals a Strength 4 hit to any models in it, as detailed above. After resolving any hits, the fire goes out and the marker is removed. So imagine this Night Maniple moves towards you, and then their activation's over, and then you drop that template underneath them, and it hits them basically twice, as long as you get 1 hit. And then your personal traits, Headstrong. In the end phase, the Princeps Senioris can choose not to discard any orders issued to their Titan, in effect carrying their order forward to the next round without making a command check. Note, shutdown orders and other effects that change the Titan's current order are still applied as normal. Unconventional Thinker. Once per battle, after an enemy Titan has declared its action, but before it moves or fires, Princeps Titan can move D6 in any direction and change its facing by 90 degrees. This movement may take the Titan through impassable terrain or other models. May not take them through impassable terrain or other models. That's pretty cool. Just get a move and a spin. That could save your life in this game, because this is a game of dueling battleships, right? It's being able to just like spin around or move out of the way of something to get like your rear arc away from an attack is a huge deal. Shadim Drift Veterans. During the combat phase, the Princess may choose one of their Titan weapons. Any armor rolls resulting from hits by that weapon may be re-rolled this round. If the Princess is targeting Titans from the Death's Head or Tiger Eyes, then hits from all the Princess weapons may re-roll their armor rolls. So you don't like them at all. So if you're a veteran of the Shedem Rift and you hate the Tiger Eyes and the Death's Heads, you can re-roll your armor rolls against them. That's pretty awesome. Situational, but super awesome. And again, they have a sharp sort of like, almost like cream color and red. And then here they are, my favorites, the Legio Ignatum, the Fire Wasps. I love this rule. Their trait is We Loyal Few, because they're the last true Titans of Mars. They're the only Legio that didn't like fully betray, or mostly stayed loyal to the Emperor. That when the Fabricator General was on Mars, there's 3 Titan Legions based on Mars. They consider themselves to be the true inheritors of Mars. They may reroll hits of 1 when making an attack against an enemy Titan within 12 of them during the combat phase. If you get up close, you reroll ones to hit. That's a huge deal. Oh my gosh, I totally spun this page. Because you've got this like hatred basically of all of the Traitor Titans. Then you've got 2 different stratagems. The first one is punish their folly for 1. The stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Ignatum player. Play the stratagem when an enemy Titan ends its move within 3 inches of a Legio Ignatum Titan as part of a charge order. Before any attacks are resolved, that Legio Ignatum Titan can immediately make an attack using their ballistic skill with a weapon without the melee trait. So you have like an Overwatch ability basically. Somebody comes near you and you just blast them for 1. And then guard the gates for 2, because you are actually the Titans deployed to protect the Emperor, the final Eternity Gate at the Emperor's Palace on Terra. The stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Ignatum player. This play a stratagem at the start of the first round strategy phase. Any friendly Legio Ignatum Titans can be issued the first fire orders without the need to make a command check. So for 2, in the first turn, you just get first fire across the whole thing, because you guard the gates. And you can take a Gravitonic Sensor Array. Any Titan can take it for 15 points. Apply +1 to all hit rolls made by a Titan with this upgrade when against targets at least 25% obscured. There you go. Ignore cover, basically. Sweet. 15 points, all your Titans ignore cover. Heck yes. That one is so good. Only when they're obscured, but basically if you're not obscured, who cares? You know what I mean? And you're offsetting the hit penalty when people are obscured. Amazing. That's a really good ability. And then your personal traits, the first one, Death Before Dishonor. The Princeps Titan can reroll failed hit rolls if their Titan has suffered critical damage. However, during the damage control phase, they must spend any repair dice to repair disabled weapons before repairing any other type of damage. So you don't want to lose your weapons because you're rerolling hit rolls, which is amazing. But you also don't want, your hull or your head or your legs crippled either, or your shields down. Foe Slayer. During the combat phase, the Princeps can choose one of their Titan's weapons, add 1 to the result of all armor rolls made by the chosen weapon. If the Princeps is targeting a Titan from the Legio Mortis or Tempestus, the Princeps can choose 2 of their Titan weapons to add 1 to the result of. So again, you hate Mortis and you hate Tempestus. And then Eternal Guardian. Once per combat phase, the Princeps may reroll a single armor roll resulting from any hits from any of their weapons if they've not moved in the same round. So if you're standing still, you get to reroll. That's pretty awesome too. There they are, and they're pretty yellow and gold. And we got the Iron Spiders, the Legio Venator. Loyalty above all is their trait. Legio Venator Titans ignore the Princeps wounded critical damage result. In addition, friendly Legio Venator Titans add 1 to the result of any command checks made while they're within 6 of another of their Princeps Senioris' Titan. So +1 to command checks next to your Princeps Senioris, and you ignore the penalty for your critical damage for your being wounded. And then One Mind, they have a second trait. At the beginning of each round, Titans within a friendly Legio Venator maniple may be formed into squadrons. Each squadron may contain a maximum of 2 Titans and cannot be Titans already part of a squadron. These squadrons last until the end of the round. Titans formed in a squadron in this manner cannot merge void shields but follow all the other rules. So you basically can coordinate your movements and attacks, but you can't, actually like merge void shields, because that would be super powerful across your whole army. And then your last trait, Mobile Force. Any Legio Venator maniple may select a Reaver Titan in place of a Warlord Titan as part of its mandatory components. That one's pretty cool too. So you can drop down and still get the traits for that maniple. That would be actually really cool for like any of the big maniples. You can still get like the Brawler traits, but you didn't have to take the tax of taking like 2 Warlord Titans. Your Legio specific war gear, blind launchers. Any Legio Veteran Titan may be equipped with blind launchers for 20 points. Once per game, during the combat phase, a Titan with this upgrade may activate them. If it does so until the start of the next combat phase, you're -1 to all hit rolls, but also to your hit rolls you make. So it's basically the blind barrage, but at a -1 instead of a -2, and it applies both sides. They can be activated at any point during the Titan's activation, so even after you make your attacks. So you can do all your attacks and then launch your blinds, which is handy. And then your personal traits, Burning Hatred. Once per round when the Princeps Titan causes critical damage to an enemy Titan, the Princeps Titan may immediately make an attack with one of its weapons, chosen by the controlling player. After resolving the effects of this attack, roll a d6 on your reactor overload table for the Princeps Titan. Ugh. So you get super mad, you keep firing your gun, but you overheat yourself. And then Crusade Veteran, once per game, after resolving a repair roll made as part of your emergency repairs order, the Princeps may discard the order and immediately be issued a second order. The second order may be another emergency repairs order. Even if the emergency repairs order is removed in this manner, the Princeps Titan can still only be activated in either the subsequent movement or phase or combat phase of the next round. So you basically can repair twice or repair and do something else, which is cool. And then Superior Tactician, the presence of the Princeps adds 1 additional stratagem point to the battle group and may be used before the battle to purchase stratagems. And then a cool silver and black kind of like color scheme there. You don't see black trim very often. I like that. And then the Impaler is one of the Traitor Titans now. Look at this cool like teal and red color scheme. I really like them. Legio trait, Direct Measures. Subtlety is not a concept that exists in the mind of those who serve Legio Lanniscara. Once per round, a single Legio Lanniscara Titan can move using their boosted speed value without needing to push your reactor. So you get to move quick with no push. Legio trait Bullish. When making an attack as part of a charge order, a Legio Lanniscara Titan may make a smash attack in addition to any other attacks they make. And then your stratagems, you've got just one. It's Heedless Charge. This stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Lanniscara player. Play a stratagem at the start of any strategy phase. For the remainder of the phase, any Legio Lanniscara Titan can be issued a charge order without needing to make a command check, because you just go. So for 1 CP, everybody goes. Your specific war gear, Mordantized Ceramite. And then any Legio Lanniscara Titan can be upgraded with this for 10 points. Subtract 1 from the result of all armor rolls for attack made by this weapon with the maximal fire trait against a Titan with this upgrade. So all plasma guns, basically, -1 from armor rolls. This negative modifier is applied even if the attacking weapon is not using the maximum fire trait to increase your weapon's strength. And then your traits, Cruel. When making an attack against the units with a scale of 5 or lower, your strength of any hits goes up by 2. Titan Killer, once per round, the Princeps can reroll all armor rolls of 1 when attacking an enemy Titan. That one's amazing. And then Heedless Rage. Once per round, the Princeps may make an attack with a disabled weapon with the melee trait. Once the effect of the attack is resolved, they take a strength 10 hit to the body. So they smash you with like their broken chain fist, and then they hit themselves too because it overheats. And I love that color scheme. What a great color scheme. It's just really sharp. Oh, and I like all this like patterning too. It reminds me of, oh shoot, what was that Dan Abnett Space Marine novel? Iron Snakes, I think. They had like those cool kind of Greek like inlays and stuff. Just like chevroning and stuff. Really, really cool. The Blood Drenched in the Blood of Valia. All right, the Gatekeepers. Their Legio trait is Callous. They never suffer penalties to their command checks and may ignore effects that force them to reroll command checks. They just don't care. The 0 dams of the Titan Legions. And they have stratagems, 2 of them. The Steadfast Bastions, the first one for 1 CP. The stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Kulisteri player. Play it during any shooting phase. Add 6 inches to the short range but not long range characteristic of all weapons without the melee trait. Carried by that Titan, so long as they have not moved during this round. That's really cool. So +1 to the short range means accuracy can go up on a lot of different guns. Really cool on plasma cannons, actually, or Sun Furies. Methodical Advance for 2. Play a stratagem in the first round. Sorry, the strategy phase of the first round. Choose a scale. All friendly Legio Kulisteri Titans with the same scale as the chosen scale may immediately make a move, although no Titan may declare power to stabilizers or power to locomotors. After the effects of the stratagem have been resolved, the opposing player becomes the first player. So you basically just do a push, and then your opposing player becomes first player. Titans that move in this way may not be activated in the strategy phase of the first round. It's pretty cool. You just have like a surge. And then you get Accelerated Autoloaders. Any Legio Kulisteri Titan armed with Apocalypse Missile Launcher can take it for 20 points. So long as that weapon does not have an upgrade that already affects it. Each weapon a Titan is armed with must be upgraded separately, After resolving an attack made by a weapon with this upgrade, the Titan may immediately make a second attack with the weapon at -1 to hit. Cool. After resolving the second attack, the weapon is disabled and the upgrade is no further effect for the remainder of the battle, even if the weapon is subsequently repaired. So basically you empty the drums. Like, disabled in this case, it doesn't really mean damage, it means it's not working. So you would just like disable the weapon and yeah, and like empty the loader. So like you just fire through every single rocket, you Robotech missile out and blow up whatever you're shooting. And then 3 traits, Ancient of Death. When the Princeps Titan must roll on the reactor overload table, only ever a roll of a d6, even if the reactor is on the red hole. Cool. Never roll the d10. Infamous Warlord. Enemy units within 8 inches of the Princeps Titan subtract 1 from command checks. And Corrupted. The Princeps ignores the MIU feedback and Princeps wounded damage effects. And another cool cream and gold bisecting pattern. Looks really good. It's like a split pattern down the middle. With like a white gold too, a very shiny gold. And then the Dark Tide. I love these guys. I'm going to skip to the Dark Tide afterwards because I want to talk about them more. I'll go to the Unbroken Lords. So these are the last of the Legios that are traitors. They have Trifling Pain. When activated in the movement phase, Legio Demicium Titans may... Demicium? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Demicium. Titans may choose to ignore a single critical damage effect. This lasts until the end of the combat phase. In addition, they repair critical damage on a 4+ instead of a 5+. That's really cool. So really, really like good at repairing themselves and staying active. And they're also Envious. Add 1 to the result of all command checks made by Legio Demicium Titans as long as at least 1 enemy Titan of equal or larger scale with than their own is visible to them. So you get +1 command checks because you hate them because they're bigger than you and cooler than you, have cooler guns. That's awesome. That's actually a really good reason to run nothing but Warhounds, because your command would go way, way up all of a sudden because everyone's bigger than you basically. And then your 2 different, one different stratagem and 1 different piece of war gear. So you have Endurance Beyond Limits for 3 CPs. Play stratagem, this stratagem can be purchased by any Legio Demicium player. Play a stratagem at the start of the combat phase before any units are activated. The Legio Demicium player may immediately make a repair roll for each Titan, rolling a number of d6 equal to half its servitor clades. So you get a free repair for everybody on the table. Late game, that could be huge. And then your war gear secondary plating. Any Titan can take it for 10 points. The first critical hit a Titan with this upgrade receives is downgraded to Devastating instead. As soon as it happens, this war gear is lost for the rest of the battle. So you get Abbot of Armor basically that gets blown off. And then 3 different personal traits. Beyond Death. When this Princeps suffers catastrophic damage, make a command check for the Titan before rolling on the catastrophic damage table. If it's successful, do not roll on the table. Instead, the Titan moves d6 inches in a direction with the controlling player's choice, stopping before it collides with the enemy unit, and then it automatically suffers a magazine detonation. So you just blow guys up. So you pull what is it, the Kirk maneuver, and you blow yourself up. You strike from death. Or no, it's Khan. Although Kirk does that at 1.2. Bitter Soul. The Princeps Titan does not have their speed when they suffer hit from a Quake Cannon that is not deflected by their shields, nor do they pivot when they suffer hits from concussive weapons. And then Limitless. Once per game during the combat phase, the Princeps Titan may make a weapon attack with any and all of its disabled weapons as if they were not disabled. That's cool. Just bring them back online. All right, the Legio Tritonas, the Dark Tide. These are the guys who are freedom fighting the Belt of Iron, and they believe that it's basically their birthright, and they're inheritors of this area. So Legio Trait, they're the Tide of Iron. Any Legio Tritonas Maniples may select a Warlord Titan in place of a Reaver Titan as part of its mandatory components. So all of those Reavers, like a Venator or Corsair, could actually upgrade to have a Warlord in it, which is really cool. And then Revel and Slaughter. Add 1 to the result of all command checks made by friendly Legio Tritonas Titans for each enemy Titan previously destroyed during this battle to a maximum of 3. So the more you keep killing people, the more you're passing your command checks, which is really cool. You've got 1 stratagem, the Stygian Veil. You can buy it by any Legio Tritonas player can buy it. Played during any strategy phase, the Legio Tritonas player may immediately place 3 markers anywhere in the battlefield, so long as each marker is at least 10 from a previously deployed marker. Any section of the battlefield within 3 of the center of this marker blocks line of sight to any non-Legio Tritonas player within 6 of the center of 1 or more of the markers. And any Legio Tritonas player within 6 of 1 of the markers is -2 penalty to all their command checks. All markers are removed at the end phase. So they just block line of sight. They're these weird darkness generators. You get 3 of them to place down to just like block something off. And you can put a penalty to command checks too, which is amazing. And then you get Radiative Warheads as your war gear item. Apocalypse Launchers can buy these. for 25 points for each weapon, and then they can't have upgrades already. When making an attack with a weapon with this upgrade against a target with active void shields, a hit of 6 counts as 2 hits. So you get void breakers on your Apocalypse Missile Launcher. That's amazing. That's so cool. And it doesn't go away either. So you just like, you finally have like this awesome shield breaker. So now think of like the double volcano cannon, the classic Warlord, the double volcano cannon Apocalypse top launcher for like stripping shields. It'll just blow away shields with its 10 dice. And they can maybe drop double volcano cannons or something like that. Makes the Apocalypse Missile Launcher way better at dropping shields. And then your specific traits, Tactical Genius. While the Princeps is on the battlefield, the player may reroll the dice for determining who will be the first player. If they do, the Princeps Titan cannot be activated in the first turn. He's doing big thinking. Lust for Vengeance. Once per game, when the Princeps Titan suffers critical damage, the Titan may respond in kind. After resolving all the effects of the attack that caused the critical damage, the Princeps Titan may immediately make a single attack with any of its non-disabled weapons against the unit that caused the critical damage. If this attack destroys the enemy unit, the opponent's activation ends. And then Leader of Arachnus. This presence of this Princeps in the battlefield allows you to buy the Stygian Veil multiple times. Oof. It can only be used once per phase though. So multiple of these. That's the one you take always. And then you buy multiple Stygian Veils and you just mess with the battlefield like every turn. I love it. And they have this cool kind of like dirty black and gray color scheme. I hope Owen does that one. He should do that one. Do the Freedom Fighters and then play them as anything. Or just play whatever he paints as them. And then we have 2 new Maniples. The Ignis Light Maniple, which is a mix of Banner Troops and Warhounds. So the minimum requirements are 3 Warhounds and 1 Cerastus Knight Banner. And then the optionals are 2 Warhounds and 2 Cerastus Knight Banners. I'm probably... I don't have an extra... I need an extra Warhound to try it out. But I want to try this one out as well. The Maniple trait is Scorched Earth. Units with this Maniple add 1 to the dice value of any weapon with the Firestorm trait. In addition, they may reroll armor rolls of 1 for attacks made by weapons with the Firestorm trait. And then Cerastus Knight Banners with an Ignis Light Maniple must be upgraded to be Cerastus Knight Acherons because you have to have flamethrowers. In addition, Knight Banners included in an Ignis Light Maniple within 6 of a Titan from this Maniple may be issued first fire or full striders without making a command check, as long if that Titan was successful in the same order. So they just follow these knights around, or these Warhounds around. It's gimmicky because it's all flamestorm weapons and stuff, but it's neat. And this one's a little more sort of like versatile. The Precept Battle Line Maniple. This one I'll probably try when I paint my Warmonger. It's basically an Axiom with a Warmonger replacing one of the Reavers. So the mandatory components are a Warlord, a Warbringer, sorry, not Warmonger, Warbringer, and Warhound Titan. The Warmonger's the old variant of the Imperator. And then the optional is another Reaver and another Warhound. And their Maniple trait is Flexible Tactics. At the start of each strategy phase, before any orders are issued, the controlling player may choose a single order for a preset Maniple. If multiple preset Maniples are present, then each one can pick a different one. Until the end of the round, Titans with this Maniple may be issued an order on a 2+, ignoring any modifiers. Wow. Any Titan issued an order other than that one makes a command check as normal. So if you have one order you want them all to do, just 2+ for it, sure. Why not? Let's all full stride in the first round. Yikes. And we got some Knight Houses. So tons and tons of different Knight Houses. That's the designer note here. Thousands of Knight Houses and Freeblade companies fought during the Horus Heresy, some numbering only a handful of Knight Armorers. Others able to call upon scores or hundreds. The rules presented here allow the players to theme a Knight household to one of the major Knight Houses presented in the Cataclysm of Iron. These rules can easily be adapted to other Horus Heresy Knight Houses, either taken from the setting's rich background or devised by their players. Future Adeptus Titanicus supplements will include to expand the role of the Knights in the game, including specific rules for additional Knight households. So we have the House Kolchak, and what you get here is you're going to get different Knight, High Scion or Seneschal Knightly qualities. So you can pick these instead of picking the ones from Doom of Molech. And the first one is Consecrated Auto Simulacrum. During the damage control phase, roll a d6 for each Knight with the Seneschal's banner. For each 6+ roll, they get a lost structure point back, but it can't bring back dead Knights. If the Seneschal's banner also has the Blessed Auto Simulacra rule, you get to add 1 to the results. On a 5/6, you heal damage, which is really cool. Child of the Omnissiah, the weapons carried by their banner are higher quality than normal. Weapons with a strength of 4 or higher are increased by 1 to a maximum strength of 8. And then Bombard Commander. Once per game, all banners with the Seneschal's Lance can be issued a coordinated strike, split fire, or first fire order without needing a command check. Not all banners may be issued in order in this way, but all banners must be issued the same order. We got House Moritane. Again, more knightly qualities. Their Scions and Seneschals can have these instead of the ones from Doom of Molech. Iron Lord of Conquered Dreams. That's such a cool name. The Seneschal's banner cannot be shaken. In addition, banners with the Seneschal's Lance add 2 to the result of any command checks made when testing to see if the Knight banner is shaken. That's awesome. So you're +2 to all of your other ones, and his unit doesn't get shaken, ever. The blade that rends all who defy. Knights with the Seneschal's Lance may reroll any hit rolls of 1 when making attacks with melee weapons. And one who walks unshackled by reality. Attacks made against the Seneschal's banner suffer -2 to hit for hit rolls if all models in the banner are more than 18 away, or -1 if they're at least 12 inches away from the attacking unit. That's amazing. So you're like super shrouded. And they have this neat, like, almost like Space Wolfy kind of color scheme. It's like a blue-gray with yellow. And then last but not least, House Gotrith. They have the Destroyer of Civilizations. Models of the Seneschal's banner add 1 to the result of all armor rolls for attacks made against a target of a scale at least 6 higher than themselves. So big guys get fought and beat up because they're +1 to the result of all armor rolls. Furious Assault. For each hit roll of 6 made by Seneschal banners when attacking with a weapon with a melee trait, it causes 2 hits instead of 1. Exploding 6s on melee weapons. Woof, that's really good. However, add 1 to the result of all armor rolls for attacks made with a weapon with the melee trait against their banner. So when they get hit bad, they're super like frenzied and it's easier to hurt them. And then Urban Fighter. For the duration of the first round, attacks made against a banner with the Seneschal's Lance suffer a -2 modifier to hit rolls if the target's at least 25% obscured rather than -1. And they have kind of a golden, almost, actually their color scheme reminds me of the Red Scorpions. Space Marine chapter. And then House Vectrix, that's right, there's 4 instead of 3. Their 3 rules are Dauntless. As long as the Seneschal's in the battlefield, the Seneschal's banner cannot be shaken, which is kind of a worse version of that previous one. Soul of Decay. When the Seneschal's banner suffers a critical or devastating damage, roll a d6, and on a 6 it's reduced by 1 level. So critical hit becomes devastating, and devastating becomes direct. And then Implacable Foe. Knights with the Seneschal's banner may reroll armor rolls of 1 when making an attack as part of a charge order. And then all the narrative missions. So the Cataclysm of Iron. There's 4 of them. It's a Fortress Seize, destroy the Siege Lines, a Titan Duel, and a Last Stand where you're encircled. And Echoes of Glory. So Death Worlds, Hive Worlds, Forge Worlds, and those are your 3 different like new sort of like scenery types that get their specific scenarios, and you're going to D6 to see which kind you're fighting on, and then sorry, D3 and then D6 to see which mission you're doing. I love this. This is like, I'm probably going to do a bunch of these playing on the, not the Forge World, but either the Hive World or the Ash Waste, which is really cool. And then lots of cool art, pictures of some of the new stuff with the new plastic weapon, or new resin kits too. So the Iron Triumph and the Sign of Cognus, the Knight Megaras, Knight Styrax, and that cool Nemesis Titan. And that's it. That's our book. So there we go, a look at Crucible of Retribution. Lots of cool new rules for your games of Horus Heresy, including new battlefields to play on, 2 new Maniples, and some new Legios, including my favorite, the Fire Wasps. So anyway, we'll see you for more Horus Heresy in the future. I'm going to finally bug Owen into painting that stuff I gave him to paint, and hopefully we'll get to try out some of these Legios in a battle report coming up soon. So big thanks for watching. Till next time, Ash. Have a good night. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.